Hey there, and welcome. If you're ready to finally grow your very first tomato plant and get a harvest you can actually be proud of, you are in exactly the right place. Let's dive in.
I think we've all been there. You see these incredible pictures online of huge tomato harvests, but your own plants, well, they end up looking a little bit sad. It's so frustrating, right? And it makes a lot of people think they just don't have a green thumb. But I'm here to tell you that is absolutely not true.
So here's the secret, the most important thing you need to hear. Your success doesn't start with perfect soil or some magical fertilizer. It all boils down to one simple, smart decision you make at the very beginning, choosing the right type of tomato plant for you. And that brings us to the first big idea that is going to set you up for a win. We have to talk about the two main categories of tomato plants, determinate and indeterminate. Seriously, understanding this one difference is the key to everything.
So, first up, you've got your determinate tomatoes. And I want you to think of these guys as the sprinters of the tomato world. They have a single mission: grow to a nice compact size, give you a huge burst of fruit all at once, and then boom, they're done for the season. Quick, focused, and super productive.
And then you've got the indeterminate tomatoes. These are the marathon runners. They just keep going and going and going. They'll grow into these huge, vining plants and keep putting on fruit all season long, right up until that first frost. They are definitely in it for the long haul.
Okay, so when you see it laid out side by side like this, the choice for a beginner becomes super clear, right? Determinate plants are compact. They're perfect for pots or raised beds, and they give you a big, manageable harvest. They're just plain easier. Indeterminates are awesome, don't get me wrong, but they can turn into massive plants that need a ton of space and a lot more work. For your first time, trust me, simpler is better.
And this, right here, this quote really hits the nail on the head. We all dream about that perfect, homegrown tomato taste. But if you pick a plant that's too difficult for your situation and you don't actually get any tomatoes, what's the point? The goal is success first, and that means picking a variety that's practically built for a beginner to win.
So, you're probably thinking, okay, just tell me what to buy. Don't worry, I gotcha. Let's take all the guesswork out of it. Here are some specific varieties that are basically the easy button for your first tomato garden. All right, if you've got a little patch of dirt in the backyard and you just want a reliable, no-fuss winner, these three are your champions: Red Snapper, Roadster, and Firebird. They're all determinate types, and they are proven performers.
So what makes these so great? Well, for starters, they're just tough. They're really good at fighting off common diseases, which is a lifesaver, especially if you live somewhere hot and humid. They're also forgiving, so if you're a little late getting them in the ground, it's okay. And the best part? You'll get tons of beautiful, classic slicing tomatoes from a plant that won't take over your entire yard.
But what if you don't have a big garden plot? What if you're working with a raised bed or maybe just a big pot on your patio? Well, there is a superstar for that, and its name is Dixie Red. Seriously, this variety is a total game changer for small space gardeners. The plant stays nice and manageable, but here's the thing, it doesn't skimp on the fruit. You still get those gorgeous, big, slicing tomatoes you've been dreaming of. It is absolutely perfect for container gardening.
Okay, you've picked out your tomato champion. Now comes the fun part, getting it in the ground the right way to give it the absolute best head start.
This is probably the #1 question I get from folks with raised beds. How many plants can I cram in there without turning it into a total jungle? Well, it all comes back to which type you chose to plant.
So, let's just take a standard 4x6 foot raised bed. You can easily fit 2 rows of tomatoes in there. Now, if you're planting those beginner-friendly determinate varieties, you can get away with 4 plants per row. That's 8 plants total. But if you tried to grow the vining indeterminate types, you'd have to space them out more, only fitting 3 per row. See what I mean? Choosing determinates lets you grow more food in the same amount of space.
All right, the actual planting part is super easy, but getting these few steps right is absolutely crucial. First, dig a hole that's deeper than the little pot the plant came in. Then, toss in a handful of a good, balanced organic fertilizer. Something like Agar Thrive is great for getting those transplants off to a strong start. Now for the magic trick with tomatoes. Plant it deep. Bury that stem right up to the first set of real leaves. All along that buried stem, new roots are going to pop out, making the plant incredibly strong. Then just fill in the hole and give it a really good, deep drink of water.
And just like that, your tomato is in its new home. Now we just have to talk about a couple of last things to keep it happy and productive all season long: support and watering.
Now, even though these determinate plants are nice and bushy, they're going to get loaded with heavy fruit. So yeah, they do need a little bit of support to avoid wind damage. But listen, this does not have to be some big, intimidating engineering project. A simple, sturdy tomato cage or a basic trellis, like what's called a Florida weave, is more than enough to do the job.
And here's a really cool little trick of the trade. When you space your plants about 2 feet apart in a row, they actually start to support each other as they grow. They'll kind of lean on one another and create this strong little tomato hedgerow. It's super efficient, and it works great.
Okay, last thing, just a few quick fire tips to keep you on the right track. If you can, use drip irrigation. It gets water right to the roots where it's needed and keeps the leaves dry, which helps prevent disease. Be consistent with that water, and here's the best news, you don't have to prune these determinate types at all. Just let them grow. And finally, just keep an eye out for any pesky critters like leaf-footed bugs, and you are good to go.
See, by starting with one of these easy-to-grow determinate types, you're not just planting a tomato. You're basically guaranteeing yourself a win. And that feeling of success is what's going to give you the confidence to come back and grow even more next year. So, the only question left is, which tomato champion are you going to choose?
If you're excited to try some of these amazing varieties we talked about today, like that red snapper or the Dixie Red, we've got you covered. Check out the link to Grow Haas down in the description to get you started on the right foot. Thanks for hanging out with me, and happy gardening.